we can all think about the incredible sacrifices that those who have been called to serve have made. And maybe you didn't serve, maybe you did and you made it home like I did. I was in, this incredible fighting experience where we were at risk every single day, and gunfights and close calls, and a vehicle that was, IED'd and mortar fire, and guys around me were shot, injured, wounded, and multiple guys were killed, guys in my own platoon. And I, coming through that and coming home and getting into the mortgage business and into a very challenging time for me emotionally, financially, the economy took a big dump right as I got into the mortgage business. Again, horrible timing. A lot of what carried me through that was thinking about the legacy of my teammates. And I'm going to share some of that with you. And I hope that you can just, tap into that feed a little bit and think about the incredible sacrifices that people have made, not just sort of in general, but specifically, and think about what men and women have given up. They've given up the ability to have a family, to have kids and grandkids, to be at birthdays with their siblings, to have a job in a home, and to impact other people's lives, and their lives were cut short because they gave it all up to serve a higher calling. And as I processed that, as I transitioned out of the military, I thought to myself, how is it that I could have been in all of those situations? And I came home and other people didn't. Or I came home with all of my limbs and other people didn't. And some of that weighed on me in guilt. And what it turned into is it turned into a calling for me. I had to wrestle with the fact that despite all of those circumstances and situations, that I was spared. Why was I spared? There was a piece of me that wished I hadn't have been spared, to be perfectly honest with you. I think about guys like Michael Mansour, who was in Delta Platoon, who in the Battle of Ramadi was on a rooftop providing sniper overwatch protection for an Army unit doing foot patrols through a dangerous part of the Malab district of Ramadi, Iraq, and who, while positioned on that rooftop one day, providing that security, was killed when an insurgent threw a grenade up onto the roof, and that grenade hit Mike in the chest. And it landed at Mikey's feet. And while he was straddled to his left and his right by two other teammates, in a moment's notice, he took the incredible heroic action to jump on that grenade and smother the blast and absorb that with his body. And he died and was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor. And his sacrifice that he made so that other people could live. In that case, 2-3 guys in our platoon who were immediately to his right and left, but more so in a bigger sense so that we could live. Why was it that Mikey was killed and I was spared? And that began to weigh on me, but turn into a calling that I have a responsibility. These men and women have sacrificed so that we could have a life. And so when I get frustrated, when I get frazzled, when I'm unsure or uncertain, or if I'm scared about what the future looks like economically for my business or whatever, I think about guys like Michael Mansour and guys like Seth Stone, who died 2 years ago, tragically in a parachuting accident, who was the platoon commander of Delta Platoon with me in Task Unit Bruiser. And I keep things around to remind me, right? So here's this picture that hangs on my wall, okay? And this, if you can see it, this is a picture from the Battle of Ramadi that some combat cameraman happened to catch, and there's Michael Mansour leading up front with his automatic machine gun, leading through a firefight, and Seth Stone flanked to his left, your right on that screen. And that picture, an incredible picture, captured both Mikey and Seth that day in the heat of battle in Ramadi in 2006. And so this hangs on my wall. And when I'm uncertain, when I'm unsure, when I'm maybe lacking a little motivation to do something, I think, what do I need to do? I need to make a hard phone call to a client to deliver some news. I think, at least I have a life to live. At least I have a phone call to make. At least I have business to do. There are mortgage and real estate folks who would love to have a deal to work on right now. And I think about Seth, who's no longer around. He's not there to raise a family. And, before Seth died, he was going through some challenges mentally and emotionally, and he was involved in a program that helped veterans, and he painted this picture. And it's a finger painting, actually, that Seth did. And after Seth died, Jocko got a hold of it and gave this to me. And this hangs on my wall. This is a painting that Seth did. And I look at that. And so the story with this is, Seth was going through this program, and he made this painting, and the instructor, and he got done. He asked Seth, well, Seth, he goes, what is that? He goes, man, he goes, that's life. That's life right there. And at least we have a life. And so when I think about challenging situations, when I'm frustrated, when I'm sad, I think about Mikey, I think about Seth, and I remember them. And the thought that overwhelms me is that they died so that we could live. And how sad, how unfortunate, and disgusted I would be to come to the end of my life and look back and realize that I did not live a full life that honors the legacy and the service that those men and many others made, and the sacrifices that they made for us. So, changing technology, changing economic conditions, changing health conditions, you know what? None of those things are going to fix themselves. You're only going to get through them. You're only going to get through them by taking ownership and by you stepping up and fixing those problems, finding solutions, and taking action. And when you don't feel like it, think about these guys on Memorial Day. Think about all the men and women who have made this sacrifice so that we can have a life to live. So go out this weekend, sell homes, commit to your customers, give them the service that they need and deserve, and realize just how lucky and how fortunate we are to have a business, to have the freedoms and liberties that we have, and live your life. Live a big life that is worthy of the sacrifices that guys like Mike and Seth and so many others have made. For me, when I come to meet my maker at the end of my time, just one thing I want to know. I want to know that I lived a life that was worthy of their sacrifice. And so that's what Memorial Day means to me. And Memorial Day, although it's this memorialized and commemorated this Monday, it's how I live my life every single day. When I don't feel like getting up and working out, when I don't feel like making a phone call or getting certain work done, my problems, they pale in comparison to the kind of sacrifices and the kind of commitment that these men and women have made for us.